I never got it, why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Good morning, Mike and Arlen, Our Philippine Journey. Welcome to our June 2023 expenses. Some of this will apply to you, some of this will not, but we're going to go through everything. And when I say everything, we tracked, I want to say, we're within $100, if not closer, to every penny we spent in June. Now, with that being said, there are some expenses that are not included, but they're not part of what happened. So I'll explain those as we go along. And in addition to that, I'll tell you where we could easily have saved money or not spent, or was a not necessary expense. We're going to show you what it's like when you see all these beautiful videos, all these travel vloggers, okay, in all of these places, or these people that live at the beach or everything else. Maintaining that lifestyle can be expensive. It doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes, though, it is. So let's get going, and we're going to go, like I said, step by step, and we're going to explain it all. And if you see my eyes moving around, it's not because I'm not paying attention to anybody. It's just that I'm working on two different screens, flipping back and forth and doing those types of things. So let's move to our expenses. Let's get rid of that, and then let's bring up this. So this is a part of the spreadsheet that we put together, and you can see up here that we did everything based on 55 pesos to the dollar, which has consistently been where we are. We tracked our categories, and then we tracked our expenses through those categories. Now, what I am going to do, just so you know, I built this spreadsheet on the fly as we incurred everything. The next month, what we're going to do is clean it up, reorganize it, and then we're going to put it in a Excel spreadsheet that you can download, all right, probably Google Docs or something like that, and you can make it fit you so that you can plan your budget. You can make it work for you. So let's go into what's not in here. Well, what's not in here is my daughter's school and living expenses in the U.S. As some of you know, she recently graduated from undergraduate school, and she's now pursuing her graduate work and internships. All of that I funded a long time ago, and that's a separate bank account that I would never touch, and it has money in it, and that's what's used for her education. Cell phone, car, insurance, health insurance, all those things. Okay? What also isn't included is her transportation expenses from the U.S. to the Philippines. And the reason I didn't include them is because, well, number one, it's something you probably would never come into. Number two, you would maybe book a different flight a different way. And number three, my daughter made an adventure out of it and spent 2 nights in Tokyo on her way. So those expenses are not in there. There are some recurring expenses that are quarterly or annually. Some of those are also not in here. So let's just go and take a look at item number 1, our condo. And let's, boom. So we own 2 houses or 2 homes here in the Philippines. We own a condo that we primarily live in up in Angeles City. And then we also own a home that we built down in Mindanao in Arlene's family town, where she was raised and where most of her family lives. So we don't have rent. Okay? Now, we do have a service fee, and that service fee gets us access to 6 pools, 4 restaurants, a gym with another one coming, all right, daily maid service or housekeeping service, which in turn is really, just light dusting, mopping, stuff like that. We very rarely use it, okay? I may use it when Arlene has been out of town to see her family, and I want the house picked up and cleaned before she gets back. Happy wife, happy life. Other than that, we get trash, water, and there is free internet. We are wired Wi-Fi internet on our condo association. However, we have our own private line, which is a much faster line, and we'll talk about that. So we've got the service fee, and the service fee is built based on the number of square meters for each unit. It varies from meter to unit. We had no maintenance costs. None of the air conditioners were maintained. All right. And our electric bill, which we pay, was $9,107, so our typical home expense, $347. And quite frankly, I think that there are many places that you could rent for about that amount of money somewhere. So that number's not so bad when you come right down to it. Now, would you get the amenities we have? I don't know. You'd have to look around and see. All right. So now we have our next category: my phone, Arlene's phone, our Philippine Journey phone, Converge, which is our internet provider, which this is going to change. I have one of the things you have to remember is we had to sign up for a 2-year lock on a 400 megabit fiber line, which was at the time 2 years ago 4,500 pesos. This is now considerably cheaper. In fact, Arlene and I are going to Converge today because our 2 years is up, and we are going to talk to them about downgrading it to a 200 or 300 megabit line, and what the lock-ins are for that. In addition to that, we have IPTV, which is a service separate. You wouldn't pay for that, more than likely. But I watch a lot of news. I watch the BBC, I watch Fox, I watch CNN, ABC, CBS, all right, MSNBC, Reuters, Bloomberg. I watch a lot of news, and I need to get those channels. And so we have a service that provides that, along with movie channels, movies, everything else, if you're familiar with IPTV. But you can take this out of that budget. We have Skype that I pay for. Now, that Skype is necessary for me. I use Skype to call my mother, my brother, my other brother, all right, my banks, my credit card companies, my brokerage, my CPA, my attorney. And quite frankly, it's far more stable than Facebook calling or WhatsApp or anything else that we've dealt with. So the total for that was $8,250 or $150. And Skype runs us, $750 a month, and it's something we use quite often. All right, I have something in my way to see the tabs here, so I apologize. Entertainment. You can save a crap load of money here. First off, we have bar hops. Okay, we call them bar hops. They're not like these walking street bar hops. Okay, we go to a lot of restaurants and bars for cocktails with our friends. If we're not having dinner, but we might be having finger foods, we call that a bar hop. Live music, entertainment, all of these different things. You don't need that. You can take this out of the total. All right. Casino. That's an unusual expense for us. We don't go to the casino here in the Philippines, hardly ever. We used to go to Vegas quite a bit. We don't go here, but my daughter was here and she was 21 and she had never been able to gamble and she wanted to. So we went for an evening, cost me 10 grand pesos. Henan. Well, I considered, I put Henan in here under entertainment. And as I said, we're going to redo these categories. But at the time, as I was building it, I didn't. But Henan that's the cost of 2 rooms, pool view rooms at the Henan Resort, Alona Beach in Bohol. And if you'd like to see just what you get, we do have a video of it. Just take a look. And that's where we stayed as part of my daughter's vacation trip. Cebu Pacific. Cebu Pacific was 3 tickets, round trip, Manila to Bohol. Taglabaran, I think, is the name of that airport. It's right there in Panglao. All right. So, pretty much all of this, $134,000 or $2,444 of our expenses, you don't need. Okay? It's just that simple, unless you're going to do something. Now, keep in mind, we don't do this every month. Okay? This is not something that's standard for us every month. This is an exception, but it is what it is. And, I worked hard enough in my life, and please don't begrudge me the ability to spend the money that we saved. And this was for my daughter. And I don't mind spending that for my daughter. And quite frankly, that gets us all the way into a whole nother argument about some of these deadbeat dads and some of these bloggers that are deadbeat dads. They left their minor children behind in the U.S. and never contributed to their upbringing. These, I think, are the worst kind of people. I'm not going to name any names. Groceries. Well, we have a whole list here. JJ's, Landers, Hypermart, S&R, Healthy Option, Healthy Choice, miscellaneous, cigarettes. Take that right out. Veggies at the market. And actually the list a little bit, I have to go back and take a look. Oh, no. Yeah, this is complete. I just didn't, I was thinking of something else. So $31,000 in groceries. And keep in mind, you don't have to do this, but we cook a lot. we cook a lot of meals, okay? And, we try and cook wholesome, not necessarily healthy, but wholesome meals. Secondarily to that, I refuse to eat meat from the market. If it's not been in a refrigerator and it doesn't have a date on it, Arlene is not going to cook it for me. And now we pick up meat at Landers. We pick up meat at Hypermarket. We actually like the meat selections at S&R far better than Landers or Hypermarket. Okay. We also use Healthy Option and Healthy Choice. This month, because of all the travel and everything else, we did not. All right. Miscellaneous, that's picking stuff up here and there, offhand. Foods at JJ's or something like that. All right. Cigarettes. You know what? Please, you can lecture me all you want. I hate it. It's a nasty habit. As a healthcare professional, I know way better. I have never been able to quit. I have tried 1,000 times. Well, not 1,000, but a lot. And it's a horrible, horrible habit. And I commend those of you that have been smokers and were able to quit. I have not been able to, and I'm hoping one day I will, but it hasn't yet. 31,141 pesos or 566 bucks. Deliveries. The only thing we get delivered is purified water. We get purified water delivered to us in the 5-liter round thing that goes on top of our water dispenser. We get it's $100. It's 100 pesos a delivery, and we get 3 per delivery. And so we usually get water 3 times a month, so that's 300 pesos, $5.45. What we do is we have thermoses, cups, and that's what we use. I try my very best to not buy plastics. The amount of plastic waste going into the environment is horrible. These single-use plastic bottles, we do our very best to avoid those. Medications. Oral medications, insulin, and Lantus. Now, those oral medications will include some for Arlene, but they're mostly mine. Insulin and Lantus is all mine. 16,206, 294 pesos. Dining out. Oh, that's a lot, huh? Yeah, we eat out often, and I'm not going to make an excuse for that. We eat out a couple times a week at least. Now, the good thing is most of the time that we eat out, we have leftovers for lunch or breakfast the next day. But you don't have to eat like that, and you don't have to spend like that either. So again, you can retailer that to work for you. 52,275 pesos eating out, or monthly dining out, 950 bucks. Okay, we went to Bohol, and so we did all the tours. So there are fees for all of these things. So the whale, swimming with the whales, if you haven't seen that video, you really need to see it. 3,700. We had to hire a car 2 days, and those 2 days that we hired came out to 5,800 because the tours have a fee, and then the getting there and transportation totally separate. We hired a car. We had our own private car. We were on our schedule. We didn't have to deal with anything. Tips. we went way overboard on tips. And we did it, I'm going to be honest with you, just simply because, number one, at the whale swimming, those were family friends that actually ran that tourist spot and destination and program. And secondly, our driver, we tipped very generously as well, because this guy took us to places that aren't even listed on the tours, like the monkeys. Wild monkeys, no cages. They'll eat out of your hand. You have to have somebody with you. 380 pesos to the wild monkeys. The Tarzares. If you haven't seen that video, we have it as well. Take a look at it. ATVs. And that ATV price actually included a tip to our guide, which actually the guy did a great job. All right. And that was riding ATVs around by Chocolate Hills. Island hopping. From Alona Beach, Arlen and Taylor went island hopping out to one of the islands. They fed the fish, swam in the corals, and then got a chance to swim with native, again, not caged or not netted or fenced in sea turtles. They had a great time. And then the airport transfers. And the airport transfers were from the Taglabaran Airport to Henan Resort, and from Henan Resort back to Taglabaran. And we arranged all of that through Henan. Retail. We're simple people. We don't buy a whole lot. We had to get some water shoes for Arlen and for Taylor, some sunblock. We had to pick up some soap, a couple of other things. Arlen picked up some T-shirts for the beach, some eggs. I don't know how eggs ended up in retail. I guess because it was purchased at the same time as something else. Now, we did have some solar lights that we bought in retail. Then Arlen went to the salon, and then she ordered some stuff for the house in the province. So these are all things that you can exclude from the grand total. Okay? Now, I can't do, or I could do the math for you, but only you know what's going to work for you and what isn't. So I'll leave it up to you to deduct what you need. Vehicle. This is our Angeles vehicle. So our insurance, although we pay annually, it breaks down to $2,600 a year. Car wash is 200 pesos, 50 peso tip. Did that twice. Miscellaneous. I can't even remember what that was for. We didn't have any maintenance, tires, inspection, or registration on this month. Local transportation. Okay, so local transportation is when we can't or don't use our car. So sometimes when we know where we're going, it doesn't pay for us to drive because there's no parking. Now, and Arlen and I never drink and drive. And while I don't ever get intoxicated, I guess, I still don't like to even have one drink and drive. And fact is, I don't even drive anymore because of my disability. So the trikes, we spent about 700 in trikes, 1,120 in tolls. So that's the NLEX to the Skyway and the Skyway to the NLEX, and then private car. Long-term parking in Manila is desperate at best at the airport. So when we flew down to Bohol, we hired a car, 4,500 pesos, and we hired a car coming back, 4,500 pesos. Well, it's actually 4,000 pesos, and we tipped the driver 500. Okay? And then we have our province expenses. So we have a like a mobile type, we get like it's like cellular internet. So that's like that unit costs us about $900 a month. All right. We gave Arlen's family about $5,000 plus $2,000 in meds. Our electric bill was $206. Arlen's sister, as a side job, cleans the house. She'll dust and mop once in a while. And then there's some miscellaneous expenses as well. So now, what does that all end up coming to? Let's look at the final product here. But before we look at the final product, the final number, I want you to also keep in mind, number one, feel free to ask questions, comment, send us an email. Number two, these are our expenses. Don't base yours solely on ours, but use this as an understanding of what it can cost. Okay? And then finally, hey, if you found this informative, if you found this interesting, please do subscribe, because we do this every month. And please do hit that thumbs up, as we would really appreciate it. So, in closing, our final expenses. And there they are. Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. All right. 322,519 pesos, or $5,863. Again, you can see where you can cut back drastically. Okay? You can, you're not going to be air conditioning. Like, for instance, my daughter, she ran the air con in her room 24/7 the whole time she was here in town. You're not going to end up with the grocery bills we have if you're a single person, or if you eat more native ingredients. You're not going to end up with medications like I have if you don't have a chronic disease. Okay? You're certainly not going to end up with the whole stuff. You're not going to end up with the hotel expenses. You're not going to end up with the airfare. But if you want to live the life that these glorious bloggers show you about a different beach and a different location and a different place every week, it's going to cost you money. You may not have a vehicle, so you don't have to deal with that. All right? And most of you are not going to have a second home to maintain. So adjust that to make it worthwhile. And if indeed you find yourself in a situation that says, hey, you know what? I'd like to see, I'd like to use, I don't want to build a spreadsheet. I'd like to use one that's already built. Then comment. If I get enough comments, I will publish that final spreadsheet, which probably be maybe 2 months, because I think it needs another 2 months worth of build to get it looking good, number one. And then number two, to actually get the categories all situated. And we will post it in Google Docs for everybody. Finally, thanks so much. Have a great day, and we really hope you're doing well. And remember this, if you don't come to the Philippines and look at it and try it and see what it's like, then you've not done nothing. Nothing gained, it is simple. You got to come here and try it. And that's why we publish this. So, thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.